One thing I've noticed coaching adults is that learning to roller skate usually takes people longer than they expect. Not because they're doing anything wrong, not because they're incapable of learning new things, it's because no one really talks about what the process actually looks like. People show the smooth tricks, the flashy skating, they show all the highlights. What they don't show is that awkward phase, the part where you're concentrating on every little movement way too much. It's the part where progress feels slower than you'd like and you're feeling frustrated and left wondering whether you're getting it at all. If you're new here, hey, I'm Tracy. I've spent almost 10 years in artistic roller skating, and now I coach adults learning to roller skate. And over the years, I've seen so many people reach a point where they start questioning themselves. Maybe roller skating isn't for me. Maybe I should be progressing faster. Maybe everyone else finds it easier than I do. And that's what I want to talk about today, because if you're in that awkward stage right now, hear me out, because there's a good chance you're exactly where you're supposed to be. One of the biggest surprises for adults is how long the awkward phase lasts. Most people expect a few sessions of feeling uncomfortable, that's normal. They expect skating to start to feel natural after those few sessions. That's not usually how it works. Learning to roller skate is like learning a new language. No one expects to become fluent just after a couple of lessons. At the beginning, you're learning the vocabulary, you're making mistakes, you're stopping constantly to think about what you're saying. Roller skating is the same. You're learning an entirely new way to move your body. You're learning how to balance again. You're learning how to transfer your weight. You're learning how to trust your edges, your control. These are actually the exact things that I focus on with all of my beginner students. They're not always the most exciting skills to practice, but they're the skills that everything else is built on. Whether I'm coaching in person or working with women inside my online course, it's always the same thing. Strong foundations make everything easier. And if you would like help to progress faster with your skating, I'll leave the details linked below for my coaching options, including a free workshop, which is a great place to start if you're new to skating. The awkward stage isn't evidence that you're failing. It's evidence that you're learning. It's worth thinking about how often you actually skate. If you're skating once a week, your progress will be on the slower side. And if you're skating 2 to 3 times a week, you will usually see things start to click a lot faster. When I was training for artistic competitions, I'd be on skates for 2 to 3 hours at a time, multiple times a week. But most adults aren't trying to do artistic skating. Most adults want to have fun. They want to feel confident. They want to enjoy skating. But the input that you put into your practice needs to match your expectations. The next thing that catches adults off guard is understanding how progress actually works. Most adults expect to improve steadily, a little bit better each week, which is mostly how it works, but skating rarely looks like that. It's more like long periods where you feel like nothing is changing, then suddenly something clicks and you unlock everything. You suddenly feel more stable. A certain movement like edges or crossovers suddenly start to make sense. And from that, it happens again and again and again. But progress does come in waves. It's not one straight linear line. And a lot of learning happens before you can actually see the result. You also see people who seem to pick things up more naturally and really quickly. It's usually the person that has only been skating for a few weeks and then all of a sudden they can skate backwards. It's the person who naturally looks confident, but what you don't always see is what they did beforehand. Maybe they did dancing as a child, maybe they ski, maybe they surf, maybe they spent years developing balance and coordination, body awareness through other activities. Sometimes people have skills hiding in the background that give them a head start, which is why comparing your progress to someone else's rarely tells you their full story. Something else I've noticed coaching adults is that almost everyone thinks they're behind from where they expected to be, behind from other skaters, behind from their own expectations. because comparison can make a completely normal learning process feel like a failure. Most people are comparing their journey to someone else's 10-year journey. You see the successful attempts, you don't see the hundreds that failed before that. The fears, the repetition, the frustrations they had. Most adult skaters aren't behind, they're simply in the middle of their own journey. So this is something I talk about with my students all the time, because this is the point I want people to stay around for. When you're learning a language, there comes a point where you stop translating every word in your head, you stop thinking about the grammar rules, you just start speaking. Skating has a similar tipping point in the beginning because you're thinking about everything, where your feet are, where your weight is, whether you're going too fast, whether you're going too slow, if you're going to fall. Then one day something shifts. You realize you skated halfway around the rink without holding onto anything. Your body starts responding automatically. The skates stop feeling like objects attached to your feet and they start feeling like just a part of you. That's when skating becomes really fun. Or they learn to skate forwards and think, tick, job done, I can skate now. But that's just the beginning. It's like learning enough of a language to say hi and thank you and deciding you've discovered enough to get by, when just that was not your initial dream. And the reason I talk about this so much is because a lot of people quit before they even reach that point. One of the things we do inside my online beginner program is focus on one skill or a challenge at a time rather than learning everything at once. Because when people stop bouncing between random skills and tutorials and start building confidence layer by layer, that's usually when things start to click. Or they learn to skate forwards and think, tick, job done, I can skate now. But that's just the beginning. It's like learning enough of a language to say hi and thank you and deciding you've discovered enough to get by, when just that was not your initial dream. There's so much more waiting beyond that first stage in anything that you do. That beginner phase is always the most awkward. So if you're in that awkward stage right now, keep showing up, stay curious, trust the process, because one day you'll realize you are no longer thinking about every movement, and you'll understand why so many of us fell in love with skating in the first place. The skills will come, the confidence will come, and then the person you become along the way might just be the best part of the journey. If you're wondering what foundations you should actually focus on first, you can watch this video next, because once you understand the skills everything else is built on, skating starts to make a whole lot more sense. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.